PTO classes. So I'm back with another lesson, and this is the fifth chapter from your movements. Today we are starting the fifth chapter of your movements, and we are concluding our literature course for the half yearly. Okay, so this is the last chapter from your literature. We have already covered everything from Beehive. Okay, and from grammar also one topic is left, that is diary writing. We will study that later. But for now we have the fifth chapter from your movements, that is the Happy Prince. Okay, what? The Happy Prince. It is the fifth chapter from your book Moments, and we will see that what is the story about. Okay, and in the story we will see that how interestingly the things unfold, and how the people who are not very what we say blessed get the things which are needed to them. In life we run after the things which are not needed but for mere luxury. Okay, for example, we want expensive phones, we want big house, we want fast cars, but that is not all that is required. But we have enough to live. Okay, but we run after the things which are not needed. And in the story we will see that many are there who have lesser than what we have, but we don't always pay heed to their needs. We don't look at their side. We think that we don't have enough and we greed for more. Okay, in the story we will see that how Happy Prince changes everything. In the story, Happy Prince is not an actual human being, but he is the statue of a prince. Okay, and we will see that how the statue will change the lives of the people around him, of the kingdom. So we will see that what this prince does. Okay, the Happy Prince does. The kingdom where he was the prince of, he will help the needy ones. First of all, he will see that whether the kingdom's people, whether the people of his area are living their life with happiness or not. Then he will see that they are not really in a very good position, and then the Happy Prince will find ways to help the needy. Okay, so we will see in our story that how things unfold. And this is a very interesting story, so keep on watching. We will conclude the story today only with this video, and then we will move forward with the grammar portion, the writing portion, diary writing, and then your half-yearly course will be over. Okay, and in Google Meet we will interact again. So keep on watching the videos. Tell me your queries, send me your queries, and do watch the videos till last. So let's start our chapter, The Happy Prince.
Now we will see that what our story holds, what is there in the chapter. I will read and explain the chapter, and I hope that you will enjoy the lecture. I hope that you will enjoy the story. So let's begin our chapter. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in, and we are going to see that what your chapter holds. Okay, so here we go. High above the city on a tall column stood the statue of the Happy Prince. He was gilded all over with thin leaves of fine gold. Okay, so high above the city, in the higher altitude of the city, there stood the statue of the Happy Prince. Okay, he was gilded over with thin leaves of fine gold. So the statue had the leaves, for decorating it, and it was of gold. Okay, for eyes he had two bright sapphires. Okay, sapphires are the stones, the bright stones, and a large red ruby glowed on his sword hilt. Okay, on the hand of the sword, as you have the lower part of the sword, it has the red ruby. Okay, in the hilt of the sword, in the hand of the sword from where you hold the sword. One night there flew over the city a little swallow. Okay, so what happened one night? A little swallow was flying over the statue. His friends had gone away to Egypt 6 weeks before, so his friends had already left 6 weeks earlier, and now he had stayed behind. He was left behind. Then he decided to go to Egypt too. So all the birds, the swallows, were flying off to Egypt, and the little swallow of our story was left behind. And then he decided that I will fly alone to Egypt. All day long he flew, and at night time he arrived at the city. So for the entire day he flew, and at night he stayed, and he arrived at the city where the statue was there. Okay, where shall I put up? He said. I hope the town has made preparations. Okay, so he said that where shall I stay? Where shall I stay during the night? I hope that town is having some preparations for me, some place to sit. Okay, then he saw the statue on the tall column. He said that I will put up there. I will stay there for the night. I will sit there for the night. I will sleep there for the night. It is a fine position with plenty of fresh air. So he alighted just between the feet of the happy prince. Okay, you can see the statue here. So the swallow decided that I will just sit at the area of the feet of the happy prince. I have a golden bedroom, he said softly to himself as he looked round. Okay, so he looked around himself, the statue was there, and he said to himself that I have a golden bedroom, because there was so much gold around him. The gold leaves were there for the decoration of our statue. So he said to himself that I will sit here in my bedroom. Okay, so prepared to go to sleep, but just as he was putting, okay, so let's read. Prepared to go to sleep, but just as he was putting his head under his wing, a large drop of water fell on him. Okay, so just about when he was about to sleep, some large droplet of water fall onto his head. What a curious thing, he cried. There's not a single cloud in the sky. So he looked around, looked above his head, and he found that there was no rain, there was no cloud. So he thought that the stars are quite clear and bright, and yet it is raining without any cloud. How it can rain? Then another drop fell. So one more drop fell on his head. What is the use of a statue if it cannot keep the rain off? He said. What I will get by sitting here if the statue can't protect me from rain? I must look for a good chimney pot, and he determined to fly away. So he thought that I will find somewhere else to sit and where I can be protected during the night. But before he had opened his wings, a third drop fell, and he looked up and saw. Ah, what did I see? What did he see? The eyes of the happy prince, which were made of sapphires, okay, were crying, were filled with tears, and tears were running down with his golden cheeks. Okay, his face was so beautiful in the moonlight that the little swallow was filled with pity. Okay, so here you see the writer has very beautifully personified the statue. A statue can never cry, but he has shown that the statue was literally crying. Who are you? He said. I am the happy prince. The statue replied to swallow that I am the happy prince. Why are you weeping then? Asked the swallow. You have quite drenched me. Drench means bhigana. Okay, so he said that why you are weeping, why you are crying, you have quite drenched me. When I was alive and had a human heart, answered the statue. So he replied to the swallow that when I was alive and I had a human heart, so I didn't know what tears were. For I lived in the palace where sorrow is not allowed to enter. So he told his story to the swallow that when he was alive, he lived in the palace and he didn't know what crying was. Okay, my courtiers called me the happy prince, and happy indeed I was. So he said that my courtiers, the ministers, all the people around me used to call me the happy prince because I never used to be sad, I was always happy. So I lived and so I died, and now that I am dead, they have set me up here so high that I can see the ugliness and all the misery of my city. So he said that now I am sitting in the higher position. Here I am a statue and I am in the higher altitude, so I can see the misery of my city. Misery means the bad thing, the worst condition of his city. Okay, so he saw the ugliness, the ugliness of the town out from the palace. In palace everything is very fine, he has his richness, but in the palace, outside the palace, the town was very ugly. Here ugly means poor people, the hunger of the common people. Okay, all of that were what we actually see around us. Okay, so the happy prince now was seeing that what ugliness was really in his town. And though my heart is made of lead, yet I cannot choose but weep. When I had a human heart, I was not crying, but now my heart is made of lead. Lead, you all know what is inside your pencils. So he is saying that now my heart is made of lead, still I can't choose but to weep. I can weep even I had a heart made of lead. Okay, so now see. Okay, I am the happy prince. Okay, so this we have already read. So he said that I cannot choose but weep. What is he not? Solid gold, said the swallow to himself. He was too polite to make any personal remarks. What, he is not solid gold? He asked to the happy prince that your heart is not made of gold, it is of lead. Far away, continued the statue in a low musical voice. Far away in a little street there is a poor house. One of the windows is open, and through I can see a woman seated at a table. Her face is thin and worn, and she has coarse red hands. Coarse means Ruke, okay, through her coarse red hands, all prickled by the needle, for she is a seamstress. Seamstress means the one who is a lady tailor, okay, सिलाई करते हैं जो, got it? She is embroidering flowers on a satin gown for the loveliest of the queen maid of honor to wear at the next court ball. So here the happy prince says that far away I can see a woman is doing the seaming of embroidery of a gown for a royal princess, but her own condition is very bad. Her hands are coarse and her hands are red and her hands are very thin. In a bed in the corner of the room, her little boy is lying ill. So, in the corner of the room, the boy, her child, the seamstress child, is sitting. He is very ill, he has a fever, and is asking his mother to give him oranges. The boy wants to have oranges. His mother has nothing to give him but river water. So, he is crying. So, the boy is crying because he is demanding oranges from his mother, but she can only give him river water. That is why he is crying. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, will you not bring her the ruby out of my sword hilt? My feet are fastened to this pedestal and I cannot move. So the statue said to the swallow that I cannot move from my position, but you can fly to the little child and you can give him the ruby on from my sword. Okay, I have mentioned that the hilt of the sword had the ruby. So the statue asked the swallow to give the ruby away to that little boy. Okay, let's see what happens next. Okay, I am waited for in Egypt, said the swallow. So the swallow replied that my friends are waiting for me in Egypt. My friends are flying up and down in the Nile and talking to the large lotus flowers. Soon they will go to sleep. So the swallow said, I am being waited in Egypt. I have no time to spare. The prince asked the swallow to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. The boy is so thirsty and the mother so sad, he said. I don't think I like boys, answered the swallow. I want to go to Egypt. So the swallow wanted to be with his friends and he said that I can't help you, I can't stay with you all night. I have somewhere to go. But the prince replied, the happy prince, the statue of the prince said that the boy is so ill, he is feeling thirsty and he needs oranges, and the mother is very sad, the boy is crying, so you have to help me. So the swallow said, I don't like boys and I have to go to Egypt. But the happy prince looked so sad that the little swallow was sorry. It is very cold here, he said, but he agreed to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. So the sadness that happy prince showed made the swallow stay with him for the night. He said that I will be your messenger for the night and I will skip going to Egypt. Okay. Okay. Thank you, little swallow, said the prince. The swallow picked out the great ruby from the prince's sword and flew away with it in his beak over the roofs of the town. So the swallow decided to help the happy prince and be his messenger and give the ruby to the needy boy. And the happy prince was very happy. He said that, okay, take the ruby and give it to the boy. And the swallow pick it up and he fly towards the town. Okay, in his beak the swallow kept the ruby and he flew away to the town. He passed by the cathedral tower where the white marble angels were sculptured. He passed by the palace and heard the sound of dancing. A beautiful girl came out on the balcony with her lover. I hope my dress will be ready in time for the state ball. So one beautiful girl in his on his way came out with her lover, and she was asking that I don't know whether my dress will be ready by the ball. Okay, ball, you all know, in western countries it is a very common practice that during the farewells and any event the ball take place. Of for the students also there is the ball where you dance with your partners and it is a very fun night. So she is off to the ball, but she is saying that I don't know whether the dress will be ready by the time of the state ball. She said, I have ordered flowers to be embroidered on it, but the seamstress are so lazy. So she is saying that I have brought very nice flowers for the embroidery, but the seamstresses of the town are very lazy. He passed over the river and saw the lanterns hanging on the mast of the ships. As last he came to the poor woman's house and looked in, the boy was tossing feverishly on his bed. So at last he came to the place where the boy and his mother were there. Okay, so at last he came there and the boy was feverishly tossing on his bed, karvate badal raha tha wo, and he was very ill, he was having fever, and the table beside the woman's thimble. In he hopped and put the ruby. So the swallow hopped, jumped, and put the ruby on the table beside the woman's thimble. Okay, where she was working on the thimble. Then he flew gently round the bed, fanning the boy's forehead with his wings. So he flapped his wings and in a way passed air to the boy. How cool I felt, said the boy. I must be getting better. And he sank into a delicious slumber. Okay, so the boy thought that how nice I am feeling now. Maybe I am getting better." Then the swallow flew back to the happy prince and told him what he had done. So the swallow flew back and told the happy prince that I have kept the ruby there, and how the boy was. He told everything. "It is curious," he remarked, "but I feel quite warm now, although it is so cold." So the swallow said, "It is curious," he remarked, "that it is very cold out there, but I am feeling warm." "That is because you have done a good action," said the prince. So the prince said that it is because you have done something good. And the little swallow began to think and then fell asleep. Thinking always made him sleepy. So the bird finally went off to sleep. When day broke, he flew down to the river and had a bath. So when the day broke, he flew down to the river and had a bath. He took a bath in the morning. "Tonight I go to Egypt," said the swallow, and he was in high, okay, he was in high spirits at the prospect. He was very, very he was very excited to go to Egypt. He visited all the monuments and sat on them every time. And as the night was there, when the moon was coming back, he flew back to the happy prince. "Have you any commissions for Egypt?" he cried. "I am just starting." So the swallow replied to the prince that I am just starting off and I am going off to Egypt. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "will you stay with me one night longer?" Okay, so the bird said, the prince said that, "Swallow, swallow, little swallow, will you stay one more night with me?" "I am waited for in Egypt," answered the swallow. So the swallow said, "I am being waited in the country of Egypt, and there my fellow birds are there waiting for me." Okay, so what happened next? "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "far away across the city I see a young man in a garret. He is leaning over a desk covered with papers, and in the glass by his side there is a bunch of withered violets." Okay, so the happy prince said that far away in the town I can see that little boy is there, a man is there, a young man is there, who is leaning over desk. In desk he is working, which is covered with papers, and in the glass by his side there are a bunch of withered violets. So there are flowers in the glass. His hair is brown and crisp, and his lips are red as a pomegranate, and he has large and dreamy eyes. He's trying to finish a play for the director of the theater, but he is too cold to write anymore. There is no fire in the grate, and hunger has made him faint. So the happy prince said that the man is trying to write a play, but and his director is demanding the play to be written soon, but there is no fire and the man is feeling cold, so he can't finish off his work. Okay, so he is going to faint soon. "I will wait with you one night longer," said the swallow, who really had a good heart. Okay, so the swallow, who had a good heart, he decided to stay one more night. He asked if he should take another ruby to the young playwright. So the swallow said that, "Shall I take one more ruby to the playwright?" "Alas, I have no ruby now." Very sadly, the happy prince said that, "I don't have any ruby left. My eyes are all that I have left. They are made of rare sapphires." Okay, so he said that, "I don't have a ruby, but my two eyes are there, which are made of sapphires, brought out of India 1,000 years ago." So he said that my eyes are made of sapphires, and they are made of sapphires brought from India. He ordered the swallow to pluck out one of them and take it to the playwright. So he ordered the swallow to take one of the sapphire and give it to the playwright. He will sell it into the jeweler and buy firewood and finish his play, he said. "Dear prince," said the swallow, "I cannot do that." And he began to weep. So the bird started crying that, "I cannot take one of your eyes." Okay. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "do as I command you." Okay. So the prince said, "Do whatever I am telling you." Okay, so the swallow plucked out the prince's eye and flew away to the young man's garret. It was easy enough to get in, as there was a hole in the roof. So the bird flew to the place where the playwright was there, and he went inside from the hole that was there in the roof. Through this he darted and came into the room. Darted means when we throw darts to the for playing. Same way the bird darted towards the room. Okay, very rapidly. The young man had his head buried in his hands, so he was having his head on his head, and he did not uh, hear the flutter of the bird's wings. And when he looked up, he found the beautiful sapphire lying on the withered violets. Okay, so I have told you earlier that in the room there was a glass where the flowers were there, withered violets were there. So now there he found the blue sapphire. Okay, "I am beginning to be appreciated," he cried. He thought that someone finally appreciated his writing and has given him sapphire. This is from some great admirer. Now I can finish my play. And he looked quite happy. The next day the swallow flew down to the harbour. He sat on the mast of a large vessel and watched the sailors working. So next day the swallow sat on the harbour where the ships are there, and he saw the sailors working. "I am going to Egypt," cried the swallow, but nobody minded. And when the moon rose, he flew back to the happy prince. So now also the swallow, see the bird, he is very adamant to the fact that he has to go to Egypt. But whenever the sun sets off and the night comes, he goes back to the happy prince. Okay, and he went back and he said, "I've come to bid you goodbye," he cried. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince again. Okay, so when the bird was going to leave, he told that, "I am going to bid goodbye to you, to the prince." And he said, "Swallow, swallow, little swallow, uh, swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "will you not stay with me one night longer?" So again the prince asked the bird that, "Will you not stay one more night?" "I have come to bid you goodbye," he cried. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow, stay with me for one more night." So the bird was saying, "I have to go," and the prince said, "Stay with me one night longer." "It is winter," answered the swallow, "and the snow will soon be here. In Egypt, the sun is warm on the green palm trees, and the crocodiles lie in the mud and look lazily about them." Okay, so the bird said that in Egypt it is very warm and I have to go there. "In the square below," said the happy prince, "there stands a little match girl." So the happy prince said that just below my statue, just in the square, there is a match girl, little match girl. She has let her matches fall in the gutter. So all the matches of that girl has fallen down the gutter, and they are all spoiled. Her father will beat her if she does not bring home some money. So the matchstick girl has to sell off her matchsticks, and if she doesn't do that, her father will not let her come inside her home. So the happy prince now was asking the bird to help that matchstick girl. Okay, so she's crying. She has no shoes also. Okay, okay, stockings, and her little head is bare. She doesn't have shoes, no socks, and her head is also bare. Pluck out my other eye, take out my other eye that is made of sapphire, and give it to her, and her father will not beat her. So the prince asked the bird to give away his one more eye. "I will stay with you one night longer," said the swallow, "but I cannot pluck out your eye. You would be quite blind then." So the swallow said, "I will stay here, but I can't do this. You will be blind." "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "command you, I command you." So he plucked out the prince's eye, and the other eye was also taken and darted down and flew down with it. He swooped past the match girl and slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand. So what the swallow did, he flew down to the match girl and gave the sapphire to her hand. What a lovely bit of glass, cried the little girl, and she ran home laughing. So she took the sapphire back home. Then the swallow came back to the prince. You are blind now, he said, so I will stay with you always. So what happened? The bird said that now you have become blind and I can't leave you now. I will stay with you always. No, little swallow, said the poor prince. You must go away to Egypt. Okay, so the prince said, no, swallow, you can't stay with me and you have to go to Egypt. No, I will stay with you always, said the swallow, and he slept at the prince's feet. So what happened? The bird decided to stay and he stayed with the happy prince and he slept on his feet. No, I will stay here, and he stayed there. All the next day he sat on prince's shoulder. So he stayed with the statue and he sat on his shoulder and told him stories of what he had seen in his strange lands. So the birds, they always fly around, so he has a lot of stories to tell. So he stood on the shoulder of the prince and he told him various tales. Okay. Dear little swallow, said the prince, you tell me of marvel, you tell me of marvelous things, you tell me incredible stories, but more marvelous than anything is the suffering of men and women. Okay, the suffering that they go through is more marvelous, is much bigger. There is no mystery so great as misery. Fly over my city, little swallow, and tell me what you see there. So the swallow was asked to fly about the kingdom and tell the happy prince that what was the state of things in the kingdom. So the swallow flew over the great city and saw the rich making merry in their beautiful houses, while the beggars were sitting at the gates. He flew into dark lanes and saw the white faces of starving children looking out listlessly at the black street. So the swallow saw that the rich are making fun, they are happily living, and the beggars are suffering. He saw the dark lanes and saw the white faces of starving children looking at the black streets. Under the arch of a bridge, two little boys were lying in each other's arms to try and keep themselves warm. So in the city, two boys were hugging each other and they were sleeping together so that they can keep themselves warm. How hungry we are, they said. You must not lie here, shouted the watchman. The watchman said that you should not stay here, and they wandered out into the rain. So see, the kids, they went off into the rain. Then he flew back and told the prince what he had seen. I am covered with fine gold, said the prince. You must take it off leaf by leaf and give it to the poor. The living always think that gold can make them happy. So see a very ironical statement here, that the statue, who is not a living being, he is saying that the living are made happy by gold. So he said in a way that he is now dead and the gold is of no use. Then he flew back and told the prince, okay, this we have done. Okay, so the leaf was taken to the prince, and leaf by leaf it was given to the people who were needy. Okay, fine gold he brought to the poor, and the children's faces grew rosier, and they laughed and played in the street. We have bread now, they cried. Then the snow came, and after the snow came the frost. The streets looked as if it were made of silver. Everybody went about in furs, and the little boys wore scarlet caps and skated on the ice. So what happened? The bird gave away all the gold to the needy ones, and then came the season of winter, and snow came. Then it became frosty, and the little boys were doing ice skating, and the people were having furry clothes. The poor little swallow grew colder and colder, but he would not leave the prince. So see, the swallow was saying in the earlier part that he want to go to Egypt because there is warm. Okay, so he was a bird who is habitual to warmer places. He could have flew away to the warmer place, but he didn't. Okay, but he would now not leave the prince. He loved him too well. He picked up crumbs outside the baker's door when the baker was not looking and tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. So he ate from the leftover kept outside by the baker, and he kept himself warm by flapping his wings. But at last he knew that he was going to die. But he knew that he was going to die anyway. He had just enough strength to fly up to the prince, and one more time he said, "Goodbye, dear prince," he murmured. "Will you let me kiss your hand?" So he asked the prince that I am about to die, but one last time I am about to say goodbye, and will you let me kiss your hand? "I am glad that you are going to Egypt at last, little swallow," said the prince. "You have stayed too long here, but you must kiss me on my lips, for I love you." So the prince said that I know that now you are going to leave me, and one last kiss you can do, and then you can fly off. "It is not to Egypt that I am going," said the swallow. "I am going to the house of death. Death is the brother of sleep, is he not?" So the bird asked very sadly that I am not going anywhere, I am going to die. And he kissed the happy prince on the lips and fell down dead at his feet. So the bird also died. So, okay, so it is a very emotional story in the ending part. So the bird kissed the prince, and he flew down, and he fell down and died. At the moment that a curious crack sounded inside the statue, as if something had broken. Okay, so one cracked sound came, and it felt like something inside the statue has broken. The fact is that the leaden heart had snapped right in two. So the heart that was made of lead broke into two. It certainly was a dreadful hard frost. Early the next morning, the mayor was walking in the square below with two councillors. So the mayor was there. He was walking down, and he said, he looked at the statue. "Dear me, how shabby the prince looks! How bad the prince in the condition!" "How shabby indeed!" cried the two councillors, who always agreed with the mayor, and they went up to look at it. "The ruby has fallen out of his sword." So they said, "The ruby has gone, and his eyes are gone too. He is golden no longer," said the mayor. "In fact, he is little better than a beggar." So they made a very drastic comment, that drastic change they showed with their comment, that earlier he was looking very nice with all that gold and sapphires and ruby, but now he was looking nothing more than a beggar. Okay, and here is actually a dead bird at his feet, continued the mayor. Okay, the mayor continued that now here is a dead bird on his feet. So he is to be allowed to die here. Okay, so the councillor said that we must really issue a proclamation that birds are not allowed to die here. So the mayor continued that the birds are not to be left here dead. They should not be allowed to die in the middle, in the town. Okay, so and the town clerk made a note of the suggestion. So the clerk made a note that no longer any bird will be allowed to die there. So they pulled down the statue of the prince, as he is no longer beautiful, he is no longer useful, said the art professor of the university. So as there was no gold, there was no wealth with the statue, there was no beauty. So they said that the statue must be brought down. Then they melted the statue in a furnace. What a strange thing, said the overseer of the workmen at the foundry. So he was melted down, and this broken lead heart will not melt in the furnace. We must throw it away. So only one thing couldn't be melted, that was the heart made of lead. So they threw it on a dust heap where the dead swallow was also lying. So the dead bird was thrown into the dust heap, and there the heart of the statue was also thrown. Bring me two most precious things in the city, said God to one of his angels. So one day God asked it is the concluding lines that the writer has used to describe in a nutshell what the story was about and how the deeds of the prince and bird were accepted by the God. So one day God asked that bring me two precious things from the city, and the angels, to his one of his angels, he said that bring me two precious things, and the angel brought him the leaden heart and the dead bird. Okay, so the leaden heart and dead bird were brought to God. You have rightly chosen, said God, for in my opinion of paradise the little more, and in my city of gold the happy prince shall praise me. It is a story written by Oscar Wilde. Okay, so it was a story written by Oscar Wilde, and the story was very beautifully written. You must have seen that we talked about a statue. Can a statue do all the things that it did in the story? The answer is no. Can a bird talk, or can he do the things that in the story is shown? No. This story is used as a symbol to show that what in our life things are like. Okay, we always run after wealth, but when we are dead, it is of no use. The gold is not of any use to the happy prince, and he always feels pity for the people. When he was a prince, when he was in his palace, he never saw these things, but now he can see that what people are suffering, and the bird showed that what true friendship is about. He stayed with the happy prince, and the author has shown that what matters in life is that we must be happy. Okay, and we must help others. Instead of running after things, we must help others. And in the last lines of your story, in the last paragraphs, it is shown that when the happy prince had no wealth on him, he was melted down. So it shows that we only admire things which are precious, but we don't value the things otherwise. Okay, so many things we can learn from the story. Hope you have enjoyed the story. You will do the work as I will told you, and for here our story concludes. Okay, so
here our chapter concludes, and we were studying the 5th chapter from your movements, The Happy Prince, and I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. I hope you have enjoyed the story. The story was very nice, not only in the terms of enjoyment or the pleasure of reading, but it gave us some moral teachings also. We learned some moral values also. So this story here concludes, and you have to do the work that I will send you, that I will ask you to do in your fair notebooks, and our syllabus for the half yearly in literature part here concludes. Only one topic is now left, that is diary writing. Okay, so we will do that shortly, and I hope that you will learn all the chapters very carefully, and we will be interacting through Google Meet also. So I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. You were learning the chapter, you were reading the story, The Happy Prince, and you were watching video classes. I am Aman. Thank you so much for watching the lecture.